Rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the executive conference room overlooking the glittering skyline of Osaka, Japan. Inside, every executive remained silent as Kaito Aramaki, the 36-year-old chairman of the powerful Aramaki Consortium, reviewed reports spread neatly across the polished black table. To the outside world, Kaito was a brilliant businessman whose companies stretched across Asia. Very few people knew another truth. Behind the legal empire stood a secret organization that had spent decades controlling criminal networks across several countries. Its existence depended on discipline. Mistakes were never tolerated. Neither was betrayal. Just as another executive prepared to speak, Kaito's secure phone vibrated. Only 3 people possessed that number. He answered immediately. "Speak." On the other end, his international intelligence coordinator, Daniel Brooks, sounded unusually nervous. "Sir, we've confirmed something you need to hear immediately." Kaito's expression remained calm. "What is it?" There was never just one secret. Several executives exchanged confused glances as Kaito quietly stood and walked toward the window. Daniel continued. 3 years ago, after Ms. Amara disappeared, Kaito closed his eyes. He hadn't heard her name spoken aloud in years. She gave birth. Silence. Daniel hesitated before speaking again. She didn't have one child. Another pause. She had twins. For the first time in years, Kaito completely lost his composure. His breathing became uneven. His hands tightened around the phone. Twins. He was a father. For 3 years. And he had never known. The conference room remained silent as Kaito slowly ended the call. Without another word, he walked out. No one dared stop him. If you're enjoying this story so far, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. There are many more emotional stories waiting for you, and you won't want to miss what happens next. 3 years earlier, Amara Bennett never imagined a delayed flight would completely change her life. She had recently accepted an international position as a luxury interior designer in Osaka. Everything felt unfamiliar. The language, the culture, the people. While waiting for a taxi outside the airport during heavy rain, a black luxury sedan suddenly stopped beside her. Several armed men rushed toward another vehicle nearby. Gunfire echoed through the parking area. Everyone scattered. Amara froze. Before she could react, someone grabbed her wrist. "This way." The stranger pulled her behind a concrete pillar just before another bullet shattered a nearby glass wall. He remained calm. Completely calm. After several tense minutes, the attackers disappeared. Emergency sirens echoed through the streets. Only then did the stranger finally release her hand. "I'm sorry you got caught in that." His voice was surprisingly gentle. Amara looked up. He was tall, well-dressed. His dark eyes carried an unusual mixture of confidence and loneliness. "My name is Kaito." She smiled nervously. Amara. Neither realized that chance encounter would completely reshape both of their futures. Over the following months, fate repeatedly brought them together. Sometimes at cafes. Sometimes during charity events. Sometimes through mutual business acquaintances. Kaito never pressured her. He simply listened whenever she spoke. Amara admired how respectful and thoughtful he seemed. She had no idea that every cafe they visited had already been quietly inspected hours before they arrived. Nor did she know discreet security teams always watched from a distance. Kaito carefully hid the dangerous world surrounding him. For the first time in his life, he wanted someone to love the man rather than the power behind his name. Months later, friendship became love. A year after meeting, they quietly married in a private mountain ceremony attended by only a handful of trusted witnesses. Those 2 years became the happiest either of them had ever known. Until everything changed. One autumn evening, intelligence reports arrived at Kaito's headquarters. A rival organization had placed Amara under surveillance. Someone intended to use her against him. His advisors suggested moving her into a heavily guarded residence immediately. Kaito agreed. Within days, security guards appeared everywhere. Her phone was monitored. Travel plans were canceled. Unexpected outings became impossible. Every decision was made for her. Whenever she asked questions, Kaito simply answered, It's for your safety. Nothing more. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. The warmth between them slowly disappeared. Amara no longer recognized the man she had married. She wasn't living beside a husband. She felt trapped beside someone making every choice for her without explanation. Late one evening, after another argument ended in silence, she placed divorce papers on the dining table. Kaido stared at them for several minutes. He could have refused. He had enough influence to make the process nearly impossible. Instead, he quietly signed every page. If losing her meant saving her life, he would accept the pain. Amara walked away believing he had stopped loving her. Kaido watched her leave knowing he still loved her more than anything. Neither realized fate had one final surprise waiting. 2 weeks later, Amara visited a local clinic after feeling unusually exhausted. Several routine tests were completed. The doctor smiled warmly. "Congratulations." She looked confused. "Congratulations for what?" The doctor slid the ultrasound images across the desk. "You aren't expecting one, baby." He pointed toward the screen. "There are two." Amara stared silently at the tiny heartbeats flickering across the monitor. Twins. Tears slowly rolled down her face. Not because she was afraid, but because she suddenly understood why returning to Kaido's dangerous world could never be an option. She wasn't only protecting herself anymore. She was protecting two innocent lives. Morning sunlight filtered through the curtains of the small apartment as Amara Bennett quietly folded tiny baby clothes she had bought from a neighborhood market. Life looked nothing like it had 3 years earlier. After discovering she was pregnant with twins, she had made the hardest decision of her life. She disappeared. Within a week, she resigned from her design firm in Osaka, canceled every subscription connected to her name, closed her bank accounts, and erased nearly every trace of her online presence. She even stopped using her maiden surname. Her passport remained legal, but almost everything else about her identity changed. The farther she moved from Japan, the safer her children would be. That belief became her only guide. With the help of her cousin, Maya Bennett, Amara quietly relocated to Cape Town, South Africa, where nobody knew her history. She rented a modest townhouse in a peaceful neighborhood filled with young families. There, she started over. Instead of working for luxury clients, she accepted freelance interior design projects, slowly building a reputation through talent rather than connections. Money was tight. Some months she worried about rent. Other months she skipped buying things she wanted so she could save for the babies. But every sacrifice felt worthwhile whenever she looked at the two little lives sleeping peacefully beside each other. Her son, Ethan, was curious and energetic. Her daughter, Elena, was gentle but surprisingly fearless. Although they were only toddlers, their personalities were already beginning to shine. Every morning, laughter echoed through the small house as the twins chased each other across the living room while Maya pretended she could never catch them. For the first time in years, Amara felt something she had almost forgotten: peace. She knew danger still existed somewhere beyond her quiet neighborhood, but she believed she had buried the past deeply enough that no one would ever find her. She was wrong. Thousands of kilometers away, Kaido Aramaki had never truly moved on. His business empire had expanded. His influence had grown stronger. People admired his discipline. Employees respected his leadership. Rivals feared his name. Yet behind closed doors, one room inside his mansion had remained untouched since the day Amara left. Her books still rested on the shelves. Her favorite coffee mug still sat inside the kitchen cabinet. Even the painting she had made during their honeymoon remained hanging on the wall. No one was allowed to remove anything. His housekeeper once suggested packing the memories away. Kaido answered with only 4 words: "Leave everything where it is." Years passed. He buried himself in work because work never reminded him of what he had lost. Or so he believed. Now everything had changed. He wasn't only grieving a failed marriage anymore. He had missed 3 entire years of his children's lives. He had missed their first smiles, their first words, their first birthdays. No amount of power could bring those moments back. For the first time since becoming chairman, Kaido canceled every meeting scheduled for the next 48 hours. He wanted answers. Every answer. Inside the consortium's intelligence headquarters, dozens of analysts worked around the clock. Digital records were reopened. Archived reports were examined. Encrypted communications were decrypted. Nothing escaped Kaido's investigation. Late that evening, Daniel Brooks entered Kaido's office carrying a thick black folder. "We found something." Kaido looked up immediately. "What is it?" Daniel placed several photographs across the desk. One showed Amara pushing a stroller through a park. Another captured the twins laughing outside a bakery. A third showed Maya carrying groceries while Ethan reached for a toy airplane in a shop window. Kaido stared at every photograph. His children looked happy, healthy, safe. Relief washed over him. Then Daniel spoke again. "There is something else." He placed another document on the desk. "Our systems show someone accessed confidential medical files shortly after Amara's pregnancy was confirmed." Kaido frowned. "Who?" Daniel hesitated. "The access came from inside our own organization." The room became silent. Someone close to him had known. Someone he trusted. Someone had deliberately kept him in the dark. Kaido's eyes narrowed. "Find out who." Daniel nodded. "It may take time. You have 24 hours. Meanwhile, far away in another country, someone else had also received news about Amara. Inside an abandoned estate overlooking the sea, international crime leader Viktor Dragunov slowly examined several photographs spread across his desk. He smiled coldly. "So, they're finally found." One of his men nodded. "Our source inside the Aramaki organization confirmed everything." Victor picked up a picture showing Ethan and Elena playing together. "Incredible." He leaned back in his chair. "Powerful men always have one weakness." He tapped the photo gently. "Family." Without another word, he gave a quiet order. "Keep watching. Do not make contact." "Not yet." Days later, Amara attended a local design exhibition where one of her apartment renovation projects had been nominated for an award. She never expected to win. Simply being invited already felt like a personal victory. Years earlier, she had relied on wealthy international clients. Now every success belonged entirely to her own hard work. When her name was announced as the winner of the evening's Innovation Award, Maya cheered louder than anyone else in the audience. Amara smiled through tears as she accepted the trophy. The applause reminded her that life could still offer new beginnings. She had survived heartbreak. She had rebuilt her career. She was raising 2 beautiful children. Perhaps the past truly was behind her. She couldn't see the man standing outside the venue, quietly photographing every movement before driving away into the night. If this story is keeping you on the edge of your seat, let us know by leaving a comment below. Tell us where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the dramatic twists still to come. Back in Osaka, Daniel finally returned with the results of the investigation. The evidence was undeniable. Every hidden report, every deleted message, every intercepted medical record led back to one person: Rika Sato, Kaido's oldest friend. The man he had trusted like a brother. As the office door slowly opened, Rico walked inside completely unaware that his secret had finally been uncovered.